Welcome to today's video. We are driving down to Frankfurt. I'm with Charlie from Octopus Electric Vehicles, who've nicely decided to take me along to the Frankfurt Motor Show, which is just absolutely amazing. They've not asked anything about, for me. They've just said, do you want to go to the Frankfurt Motor Show? So obviously I said yes. So thanks for that, Charlie.
Not at all, you're more than welcome.
I really do think Charlie just invited me for one reason and one reason only, and that was he didn't want to be on his own.
Nearly.
So, I mean, he did bring an octopus to snuggle tonight.
We're going to try and sneak that in and see if we can get that in cars.
We're going to get that in cars at the show.
Yeah.
Is that the idea?
Yeah.
I like a challenge. I tell you what, here's a challenge for you. If we see anyone from head of ID or head of Rimac, if he's there, if we can get him to hug the octopus.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
£5 bet whoever can make someone big hug the octopus. This is Charlie Belay, who works at Octopus Electric Vehicles and didn't know the Jaguar I-Pace has lane keep assist.
I didn't know that this one, I didn't know how to turn on lane keep assist.
Right, he didn't know how to turn it on, so we figured out how to turn it on and we've turned it on. But my observation, this is not Charlie's observation, my observation was it's a little bit bouncy on the road. A little bit like, if you look at my old Hyundai Kona video, I'd say it's more bouncy than the Hyundai Kona. But that might be because Charlie doesn't know how to turn it on properly. Just made it to the first stop, which is the MK stop, which now Polar have installed contactless payment on all these Rapids, and Ionity have finished fitting the Ionity chargers, and there's something a little bit cool on the new Ionity chargers. All the Ionity chargers have got little sensors in the ground. These sensors let you know that there is a car parked over it, so if it's iced it will show unavailable on the charger, which is just fantastic. What they've also got is CCS only. You can start the charge as soon as you get here, scan the barcode. It's £8 or €8 regardless of how much kilowatt electricity you take in. Plug the CCS in, start the charge. Now if you're an Ionity, if your car is part of the Ionity network, so you're part of one of the dealer groups that owns the Ionity networks at Audi, Volkswagen, what you'll be able to do is just plug the car in and the car will self-bill to a central billing account, so you won't have to start the app or anything like that, which is just fantastic. Do you want to explain to people what we're about to attempt to do?
to reproduce. So at Frankfurt or at any motor show, manufacturers are notorious for not letting you on stands, and what we have is we have some little Constantines. So we're going to practice getting Constantine into our car even if we're not able to get on a stand.
So basically what he's saying is we're going to throw little octopuses at Frankfurt Motor Show, the most highly security show in the whole of Germany, to try and get little octopuses inside the Porsche Taycan. Octopus Energy, you do vehicle test drives on all your fleet?
Absolutely, we do them on all.
Is this now a vehicle test drive for me in this?
For sure.
Right, okay. Let's turn it on. So if you just treat me as if I was a normal Octopus VW customer and I've never driven this car before, because obviously I already know where reverse is on this car. Where is reverse on this car?
So it's just down on the centre console there.
Yeah, I knew that. Honestly. That was just for the video. You understand that, don't you, Charlie?
Yeah.
So how long have you had the I-Pace in your care, Charlie?
So I've been looking after it for about 4 days. So I've driven it up from London, where it was on doing other test drives, and then drove it back down from Manchester this morning after doing an event in Oldham.
And what's the public's reaction to the I-Pace when they first drive it?
They're very impressed with how tight it is, for sure. And they're also it very much feels like a Jaguar, right? And that's really important. I think that it feels like a normal car. As much as it doesn't look like a normal car, as much as it doesn't drive like a normal car, it feels and looks very much like a normal car.
Yeah, I mean, that's unlike Tesla where it feels like a Tesla. It's a little bit different, the screen, the layout is different, where a Jaguar, this Jaguar, you could be in any normal Jaguar. There's not really that much different. Of all the controls are the same, window controls are the same, window control. I mean, they've made it a little bit more futuristic.
Yeah, things like the touchscreen.
Yeah.
But all the software is what you would find on a normal Jaguar or on a Land Rover or Range Rover anyway. So it's really interesting to see that play itself out in a fully electric vehicle.
Morning, we've just woken up at the hotel. Had to get up at 5:30 to get a shower. 6 o'clock, I legged it out of the hotel room, and we're now driving this high pace across Europe to the Frankfurt Motor Show. It's not stopping, Charlie.
It's not stopping.
Charlie feels like a proper adult today. He woke up when it was still dark.
Yeah.
42.75 kilowatts in 32 minutes, so 90 kilowatts. That's not bad. But unfortunately, Charlie can't stop the charger. No, not yet. Luckily, Ionity has a 24-hour helpline. An old DBT charger with CCS. Will it work? What are you saying, Charlie? Is it going to work?
I don't know. It says connect. Still not registering. Oh, initializing, charging. But what it'll do is it'll turn on and turn off. Yeah, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Uh-oh. Now arrived in lovely France. We have managed to figure out how to change the Jaguar dash from miles per hour to kilometres. We are currently cruising at 130 kilometres per hour in France. Charlie's just filled me in with a little fact about France that I've not known before, because last time I came to France was with Craig in a Zoe, and Craig wanted to minimise his distance and range, and in a Jaguar I-Pace you don't need to do that, which is that you can drive at a higher speed limit in France when it is dry.
For sure. So when it's dry, you can do 130 kilometers an hour on the péage, on the motorway, and when it's wet, you have to do 110. So works out in the wet about 65, 70 miles an hour. In the dry, you can be doing about 84, 85 miles an hour.
So me and Charlie finally arrived at Frankfurt. Bit scary on the motorway. Hit over that tyre.
Yeah, that was out of nowhere. That was a bit of a scary one, but we survived, so
yeah.
All good.
Kids were all strapped up in the back of the car. Okay, welcome to the journey home from Frankfurt to Calais. Charlie, it's now, what time is it? 9:55. Yeah?
Yeah, 9:55.
Yeah. So we left a little bit later because we were faffing around with the sat nav and it wasn't showing the correct destination waypoints. So we left about 30 minutes after we should have. We're going to now make a bet on what the time's going to be to make it to Calais. I'm going for 8 hours and 30 minutes.
I think we can do it in under 8 hours.
So the stopwatch is officially set. We have now entered the Autobahn. Charlie's set under 8 hours and I've set 8 hours and 30. And we'll see who wins. We're having a Fenley £5 wager.
Starbucks and the coffee in the terminal.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening?
So we've arrived at the first Ionity charger. 44 miles remaining. We left the hotel with 90. We reckon we're going to need about 35-40 minutes charge. It's not starting, is it? Okay, we're going to ring Ionity, which luckily has a 24-hour helpline.
I don't think it's recognising the car.
Oh. Do you want to try another charger?
No, let's phone them first.
Charlie just said to me that we haven't been very competitive on the fact that we haven't got the tyre pressure set correctly, and we were going to do it at the next stop, but that would waste time going to an air pump. So I said to Charlie, there should be a pump in the back of the Jaguar. So what's Charlie doing right now?
Getting the tyres pumped up.
Charlie, do you want to explain to everyone why higher pressure is better?
Yeah, you're decreasing your rolling resistance, so you're stopping the contact patch from touching the road. You're creating a crown rather than letting the tyre sitting squat and creating more grip that the car has to overcome.
So basically, physics-wise, we are lowering the contact point of the tyre, therefore reducing friction, therefore increasing efficiency and range. And seeing the next stop is literally on the boundaries of 100% charge, we need to maximise that range to beat the possible time. And Charlie wants to beat my 8 hours 30 so he doesn't have to buy the coffee at the terminal. So we just left the first charger. We didn't film leaving because, well, technically it's a race against ourselves.
We're trying to get across Europe as fast as we can. And that doesn't mean driving as fast as we can, that means minimising the stoppages. That's where we'll lose most time, right? It's where we're stopped for more than 20 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes.
The last thing you want to do is just spending all the time. I mean, the problem with filming stuff is what a lot of people don't appreciate on my YouTube channel, if you're not from this side of the camera, is to film a shot of me leaving takes 10 minutes. And to film a shot of me arriving takes 5 minutes. So when we arrived at the charger, I wasted 5 minutes just setting up the camera to make it look like the camera was already there when we arrived and stuff like that. And it's little things like that slow us down. So we have to take some little shortcuts now and again to make up that time that I waste playing and faffing around with a camera.
Yeah, but that's part of it, right? But the other thing is as well here is we're trying to prove that you can cross Europe as fast as a petrol car, easily and cheaper, right? So we might get to the Channel Tunnel a little bit slower than we would in a petrol car, but we'll have done it for about 40 quid rather than however much it would have cost to do this.
And we're using the dearest chargers, and this is the main part, we're probably going to be, what, an hour slower than a petrol car?
Yeah, if that.
Right, so if we're an hour slower, I can guarantee that unlike a petrol car, because of the stops we've done, we won't feel as knackered as if we did it in a petrol car.
100%. For sure you feel so much more refreshed.
I mean, the one thing to note about the electric cars now, with the range they do and the speed they charge at, is you're able to drive for a lot longer than 2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. And that 2 hours is the recommended amount of time you drive before you stop by people like the AA and the RAC.
Yeah, I mean, and that is the main point. If you're driving a petrol car for those solid 6 hours and literally just stopping for fuel and dashing off, you are not... Yeah.
Splash and dashing it.
Yeah, you are not physically safe to drive. We've arrived at stop number 2, and you've just had a little bit of a panic.
I checked the Ionity app and saw 50 kilowatt and went into panic stations, but actually it's greater than 50 kilowatt, so we're good.
So we got to this charger with 37 miles remaining, and we need 200 miles to get to the next shop.
Maybe 180.
182, but we need almost a full charge, about 95% charge. Yeah. So this is where panic kicks in. Because we need to.
This is where we need to trust the process.
Yeah, but we need to trust our theory. Now, mine and Charlie's theory is that when you have 90 to 100 kilowatt plus charging, you can drive faster because you can't deplete the battery quick enough in the time that you can put the charging back in.
Now needing to trust that process. So what we've done is we've done fairly quick. Get in there, get 200 Ks under the belt, 150 Ks under the belt, and now we're going to do a long stint with a splash and dash at the end. So at the very end, we're going to pull in 10 minutes on the charger. That will get us into Cali. But the process here is to use the fastest route and try not to deviate to chargers. So we could have a much nicer journey and go see some country roads. We're in the area that houses the Nürburgring at the moment.
Yeah, we saw the turn off the Nürburgring on there. But Charlie, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut you short there because we forgot we need to pump the tyre pressures up at the front for efficiency.
Absolutely.
Just left one of our last stops. We've got one more left in the continent. Well, one more planned stop. So we've got 192 mile range and we've got 184 miles to the charge. So we are 183 miles to the charge now and 192 miles. So we are cutting it close. There's a 10 mile reserve there. We are on the German Autobahn, however, and every now and again we go through signs that say the speed's unrestricted, but we have to think logically here, Charlie, and not with our right foot. However tempted it may be, but we have to think logically, and we also have to remember your boss Fiona's probably watching the glimpse link and the speed that we're travelling at live. Ideally, we want to arrive at the next charger with 1 mile. If we arrive there with 50-60 miles, we failed because we've gone too slow. I mean, most people would like to arrive with a little bit of safety net. We want to arrive as drivers that know that the Ionity network is 100% reliable.
So far.
So I need to touch some wood. It's been 100% reliable, the Ionity network. So we have that short. If you've got a reliable charging network, you can take these risks. Hit a little bit of a setback on our trip.
We've hit some traffic.
Yeah.
What road trip isn't complete? What road trip's complete without some traffic, though?
We were just discussing the professionalism of German drivers.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's unbelievable. When the traffic got really slow, the drivers, both lanes, there's only two lanes on this Autobahn, they all predicted that it was probably due to an accident. So the right-hand lane moved over to the right and the left-hand lane moved over to the far left, creating a gap in the middle of the Autobahn for emergency vehicles. None came down, no sirens went off, they just did it naturally.
It's really quite incredible.
It's amazing. And then every time you're in the lane, everyone's moving over to the slower lanes. There's none of that hardy-bargy pushing behind another driver. Everyone just moves over naturally. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a really pleasurable and really relaxing driving here, even though some people are doing stupid speeds.
We are annoyingly going through all the unrestricted parts of the Autobahn and having to drive efficiently, which is upsetting Charlie because he really wanted to try a VMAX on the I-Pace.
Yeah, it would have been awesome, right?
It would have been awesome, but running out of charge at the side of the motorway just to prove a point wouldn't have been that awesome, would it? This has been an amazing trip. Thank you to Octopus Electric Vehicles. Thank you to you for suggesting to your boss to bring me along. I've had a great time. It's been like going out on a road trip with a mate. I've really enjoyed it.
Brilliant.
I've really enjoyed
Brilliant.
it. It's also
we're not finished yet. I might completely mess this up. And
how long have we got till the next charger in time?
In time,
yeah,
an hour and 4 minutes.
This long distance EV thing has got one problem.
What's that?
When we left the last charger, I had a wee.
Okay.
And now I feel like I'm going to wet myself.
So are you telling me that your bladder is worse?
My
it's
bladder
less efficient than this car?
Yes. How's your bladder?
It's okay at the moment.
That's not what you told me before I started recording.
Comes in waves.
Oh, don't laugh. Don't laugh. It's not good. Just done the final charge. Unfortunately, I didn't film any of it. One reason is the second we got to the charge point, I ran away and left Charlie on his own because I really needed a wee. And then I got to where it is, and it was one you had to pay for, and it didn't take card, it only took change. So I was very naughty and jumped the barrier, but it did say that you could redeem the 30 cents it took you to have a wee at the shop, and we bought a lot from the shop. So I think I've paid for my wee.
Yeah, I think you've paid your dues.
We are running at the 8 hour 30, 8 hour 50 mark. Charlie reckons he can make some of that time up, depending. But we've lost about an hour due to traffic.
Yeah.
So Charlie would have won the bet, but unfortunately he lost.
And that let's be honest with that. That traffic wasn't traffic that was
predictable.
That was an accident.
Yes, so it was a truck that hit a truck. So that was non-predictable traffic. There was a bit
Brussels stuff, yeah, but we'd have been through Brussels about 45 minutes earlier,
so
right?
we would have missed the rush hour traffic. Yeah, agreed. We made it to the Channel Tunnel in 9 minutes and 2. 9 hours.
9 minutes and 2 hours.
Oh, I'm tired as well. Now you're the one driving. I made it in 9 hours and 2. You made it in 9 hours and 2 minutes, which is, I mean, considering we hit a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
A lot of traffic. We had 3 major incidences on the motorway, and then we hit one bad traffic in Belgium, which was caused due to the accident before, so therefore we caught the rush hour in Belgium, which we shouldn't have.
And then we got another accident coming into Cali.
Yep. And then there was a car broken down the side of the road. So if you take off that, which was probably about an hour and a half,
Maybe more.
Yeah, maybe more added to the
probably
journey.
an hour and a half. Yeah,
So we should have done it in about 7.5 to 8 hours, and we ended up doing it in 9 hours and 1 minute, which is still impressive. But the most impressive part of this story.
Well, can we? So that's with 3 stops.
Okay.
If we'd had a full battery when we'd left Frankfurt,
Yeah.
we'd not planned it better, but if we'd had a hotel with charging, we'd have done it in 2 stops.
Yeah.
We could have cruised at a pace that was fairly happy to the first stop, which would have been 180 miles away. Stopped for 40 minutes, done another 180 miles, and then stopped for 40 minutes, and we'd have got here much quicker, maybe like closer to 6.5, like 7 hours.
Yeah. But like I said, that's not the impressive part of the story. Is not our time.
No, but still.
But
I'm pointing out.
But let's go on the free charges. So we could have done it in 2, but we did it in 3. Free charges, £8 a charge, meaning that we travelled the amount of miles that I've displayed down at the bottom of the screen on a graphic, because we're too tired to remember stuff like this, and it cost us 3 lots of £8, which I'll total up at the bottom because I'm too tired to work it out in my head again.
24 quid.
24 quid to travel from Frankfurt to Calais. That is amazing. And Ionity is not the cheapest network. It is a fast, reliable network, but no one can argue that 24 quid is extremely cheap for that kind of mileage. So I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank Charlie, and I'd also like to thank Constantine for coming along on the trip, and mainly for Charlie for driving. You, sir, are a legend.
Thank you.
What a driver! What a driver! And if Cooper are watching, he'd like to go in that touring car. He did set a really high record on that.
Fast as the weekend, apparently.
He was fast as the weekend, and he needs to drive that car. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Goodbye.